He once killed 3 men in a bar with
A pencil. I know, I've heard the story, sir.
fucking pencil!
John Wick might have finally died in John Wick Chapter 4, but his legacy lives on, with Ana de Armas's The Ballerina continuing the franchise. Today at ScreenRant, we also look at some other memorable characters from the franchise who deserve to return to the world of John Wick in the sequel.
I'm afraid this facility doesn't allow animals.
Emotional support animal.
Mr. Nobody, aka The Tracker, deserves to return in a future John Wick film, not just because of his skills as a contract killer, but also because of his attachment to his loyal dog, Black Beanie. The John Wick franchise has had a reoccurring dog motif, with Wick unleashing a blood-fueled frenzy after gangsters kill his adorable beagle puppy. Since then, Wick went on to adopt a pit bull in John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Now with Wick dead, Mr. Nobody and Black Beanie can carry on his legacy. What's more interesting is that Black Beanie is an efficient partner in crime, attacking enemies and helping Mr. Nobody in his fast-paced missions. Even beyond the dog, this mysterious character played by Shamir Anderson, he's more than just a one-dimensional hitman pursuing John Wick for a bounty. As the third act of John Wick Chapter 4 proves, Mr. Nobody also has a moral compass. When John Wick saves his dog from an armed assailant, Mr. Nobody lets go of him and the bounty as a sign of gratitude. Maybe Mr. Nobody has what it takes to become a heroic character in the franchise later.
The owner of the car, did you kill him or what?
No. He sure as hell f***ed up his dog.
Played by character actor John Leguizamo, Aulio is introduced in the first John Wick movie as a mechanic who fixes cars for New York's most fearsome gangsters and criminals, but he keeps a cordial relationship with John Wick and proves to be one of his trusted allies. While Aulio was supposed to return in John Wick Chapter 2, his scene was eventually deleted and he never returned in the franchise again. John Leguizamo's previous performances in films like the crime thriller Carlito's Way proves that the actor can bring out a reckless side, and in more wholesome roles like Chef, he brings back the friendly persona he's mostly associated with. Perhaps a future John Wick movie can tap into these multiple emotions, bringing out a darker and more layered version of Aulio.
My father is dead because of what you did. So either you kill him, or I will.
Akira is the concierge of the Continental Hotel in Osaka. She's as organized as John Wick's other concierge, Caine, and is also pretty skillful when it comes to fighting with a sword. Rina Sawayama has a brief appearance as Akira in the opening minutes of John Wick Chapter 4, but she stands out with her emotional range and action star power. If Akira gets more hand-to-hand combat scenes in future John Wick movies, the character can truly stand out. Unlike other allies of John Wick, Akira is more rational and practical. So even though her father is ready to offer an injured John Wick shelter at the Continental, Akira warns him that this can be a deadly decision. Akira is proven right as she not only loses the hotel, but also Koji. Akira is driven by revenge and she promises to kill the high table assassin Cain for murdering Koji. Akira's much anticipated fight with Cain can make for a thrilling sequel.
Your little act of uncivil disobedience inspired me, John. I'm branching out, spreading my wings.
Lawrence Fishburne's The Bowery King has been a reoccurring character in the John Wick movies, often helping Wick in unexpected ways. If Wick needs a gun or a wedding suit, the ever-resourceful Bowery King is always there to help, but he's bound to be a character who is more than just a helping hand. The John Wick movies so far tell us that the Bowery King was a former underground crime boss who was left for dead by the High Table. Since then, he has been sponsoring John Wick in his fight against the assassin organization. With Wick dead, what does the Bowery King do now? Does he rise from the underground and start a new life? The future John Wick sequels can address such questions.
You can't kill the bearer of your marker.
I didn't kill you. I just shot you.
Halle Berry's Sophia is another promising character that deserves to be explored further. She's introduced in John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, as the manager of the Casablanca Continental. Much like John Wick, Sophia also has an affinity for dogs, and can be seen walking with 2 Grand Belgian Malinois dogs. While Sophia isn't too keen on risking her life for John Wick, she's hinted that Wick rescued her daughter in the past. Sophia reveals that her daughter is currently in a secret location, but fears for her safety. safety. Maybe a flashback sequence in a future film can shed more light on Sophia and John Wick's friendship. Halle Berry is anyway proficient as an action star with roles like Storm in the X-Men movies. Her recent 2024 horror Never Let Go also showcased her range as a caring mother who is ready to fight dystopian horrors to protect her family. An A-lister like Berry deserves to return as Sophia in the John Wick franchise. A story centering around her daughter can also make for an interesting change in tone. So far, we haven't had a John Wick storyline where an assassin is willing to fight the high table to protect their own child. Sophia can prove to be an exception.
Jardani, why have you come home?
The perpetually mysterious woman known as the director also deserves to return in future films. Played by Angelica Houston, the director is something of a mentor figure to John Wick. Before he waged war against the High Table, Wick was adopted by the Ruska-Roma crime family, and the director was one of the family's most prominent crime lords. As revealed in the third movie, the director also recruits orphan children and trains them into deadly assassin ballerinas. The John Wick spin-off The Ballerina marks the return of the director, but as for her relationship with John Wick, another sequel will be required to flesh out that origin story.
An eye for an eye, John. You know how it goes.
Rapper turned actor Caine played Cassian, a standout character from John Wick Chapter 2. Cassian is introduced as Gianna's skilled bodyguard who must take down John Wick in Rome. A neon-lit dance floor fight ensues, following which Wick can defeat Cassian, but he doesn't shoot him down, as was clear from their earlier interactions. Cassian and Wick have mutual respect and can even share a friendly drink together. In this sense, Cassian is like Wick's other friends, like Mr. Nobody and Cain. His return to the franchise can turn him into a likable antihero while giving more background on John Wick's past friendships.
You stabbed the devil in the back and forced him back into the life that he had just lived.
Winston has had a major moral presence throughout the John Wick franchise. Ian McShane's enigmatic manager of the New York Continental has been both Wick's friend and enemy. No matter how morally righteous he can be, Winston's biggest priority has been his hotel. But with the New York Continental burned to the ground and his loyal concierge Karen dead, Winston seems to be searching for a new purpose. In John Wick Chapter 4, he uses up all his resources to help Wick. But with Wick also gone, Winston can hopefully start a new Continental or give moral and strategic advice to other assassins in the John Wick franchise.
On one hand, the winner decides who lives and who does not.
Scott Adkins' Killa is one of the most colorful characters in the gritty world of John Wick. The character is introduced in John Wick Chapter 4 as a beefy Russian mobster who wears golden teeth and cheats at poker. After a suspense-filled interaction, he finally seems to be killed by John Wick. But Killa's vibrant personality has made him a fan-favorite character, and it would be exciting to see him in future movies. Killa is that kind of John Wick enemy who doesn't need to be the main villain, but even a cameo in a flashback would be enough to win over audiences. While the other gangsters in John Wick movies are often depicted as brooding or introspective, Killa is flashier and more brutish, chewing up the scenery whenever he arrives.
John Wick has few friends remaining in the world, and even fewer he trusts with his life.
John Wick's friend turned enemy, Cain is a major villain in John Wick Chapter 4. However, unlike the power-hungry Marquis, Cain has a strong moral code of conduct, and he's very much identical to John Wick, because despite all the violence in his life, he's deeply committed to his family. Martial arts star Donnie Yen gives Cain some unmatched flexibility and agility in the fighting sequences, but Yen also adds the emotional depth of the character that makes him stand out amongst all of John Wick's enemies. A post-credit scene in John Wick Chapter 4 also reveals that Cain is still alive and reunites with his daughter in Paris, but he is yet to face the wrath of Akira, who blames him for her father's death. A Cain spin-off can flesh out many more emotional themes in this tragic assassin's eventful life. So from John Wick's allies like Winston and Sophia to morally complex villains like Cain and Mr. Nobody, many other characters deserve to return to the John Wick franchise. Keanu Reeves' assassin has wreaked havoc and chaos for 4 great movies. Now it's time for the others to step up. Who else would you like to see return to this franchise? Thank you for watching Screen Rant, and stay tuned for more movie news.